Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fist Dented Christians. Dustin here with DJ, and we've got a special guest today, Greg from Metro Hope Ministries. It's a drug and alcohol rehab facility in Minneapolis. So we're going to listen to Greg's story for a little bit and then have a conversation with him. So, Greg, welcome, and go ahead and kind of tell us your story a little bit.
Thank you for having me. My name is Greg. I am 31 years old. I am in a faith-based program over South Minneapolis. Been here for about 6 months now.
Yes, one of my questions.
Been sober this whole time.
Good.
How's that going?
Good.
Is it?
Amazing. I can't explain it.
What was the longest stretch of your sobriety?
Well, I mean, I guess in prison, the prison time that I've done, I had a little bit of sobriety.
Kind of forced sobriety?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like a high on life now. Like I can't explain it ever since the criminal thinking was taken. That builds everything into it. It was the first thing that happened was I begged God to take these criminal thoughts from me. And that was the first weekend of this program, and he did. Not only that, he gave me back my sanity. I didn't have my sanity the way I have it now, and it just continues to grow into like learning how to do other things in life that I never used to do before.
Where do you think where did the criminal thinking come from, do you think?
12 years old, probably younger than that, out stealing kids' bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember having a porch full of bikes and they were all stolen.
Did you grow up here?
I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over on the east side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just kind of 12 years old, let's get out, I like that bike, I'm going to take it kind of thing?
Yep.
Did it
Pretty
feel
much.
good?
I don't know about the feeling good, but I was riding something nice every time.
Yep.
I mean, I would sell stolen bike parts and stuff like that. So it was just more of a money thing. It's not like my parents didn't have money, because they always worked hard. I grew up in a normal family. They didn't show me none of this stuff. Like, my family is all non-felons. Like, I'm the black sheep of the family.
Do you have any siblings? Brothers?
Two sisters, older. The one's 40, maybe 41 now.
Okay.
And then, yep. And then the other one's 44.
And your parents still around?
Yep, both parents are still around. Yeah, they're still together. And that's the thing too, my parents never divorced or anything like that, but the lifestyle that, I remember smoking pot and whatnot, 12, 13, 14 maybe, but then it got into meth at 15 because I was peer pressured into using it.
Okay.
And ever since that, my criminal life took off.
Where'd you go to school?
Multiple schools. I couldn't tell you how many, but I know that I've been to, like, my elementary school was Fallon Lake. Middle school was a little bit of Hazel Park, and then after Hazel Park, I remember going somewhere. I can't fully remember. There's just so many
So it's
schools.
just bouncing around.
Right.
Not a lot of consistency.
Pretty much. And then straight into high school, I went to Harming at first. I've been in the what they call pass program. Pretty much where you sit in one room the whole time. And I was a behavioral child. I grew up with ADHD. They put me on Adderall. Well, first it was Ritalin, but that wasn't good. And then they put me on Adderall. And so the Adderall, I never really wanted to take it a lot. But now I noticed into like my adulthood using meth, it's like it's counter-reacts that, and it gives you that addiction. So this is where, like, I know, like, I remember telling my aunt, with your son, which is my cousin, he's younger, with your kid taking Adderall, you got to pay attention, because it can be addictive if he ever chooses to go into dope. It'll be the most addictive thing in the world, which it was for me. Like, I don't care about any other drug. Like, pot's never been an issue for me. It's more on the dope. Pot's never led me to dope. Now, now it's like, now I realize that dope has messed up my life so far out of anything that I've ever done. I always said that I don't need to use something else because I already got a problem with the word, you know what I mean? And that problem obviously landed me so much prison time.
Yeah.
And so I know that for high school, right away in high school, I smoked bud before class, and then I slept all day until noon, and pretty much they said I couldn't come back until I took a UA.
Oh.
I mean, so what, that put me in my first treatment program.
Sure.
15 years old, I forgot what it was called again. I don't know, somewhere in St. Paul. But as a juvenile, going straight into a treatment program, never been to jail and stuff, it was all right. I mean, I went into like sober school afterwards. It was called Sobriety High.
Okay.
Went to Sobriety High, and then Gateway, and then went right back. Went right back just because of that's what I knew for a long time.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle just sucks you in. The lifestyle and just the addiction part of it,
Sure.
and having the Adderall as a kid, trying to help me with my behavioral issues that I had as a kid. The learning disabilities weren't there, but I had to like it to be able to focus and pay attention to it, to actually learn it.
Did it help you, the Adderall?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Just
But
looking back.
yeah, I mean, probably not.
Did meth help you stay focused?
No,
No,
nothing.
opposite?
The opposite.
Yeah.
Like, still, there wasn't like I could never finish something I started.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, sometimes I still get like that. It's just because it's still hard to focus on one certain thing. I'd rather have like 10 certain things, working on doing 10 certain different things, and then making sure at least one of them or something gets finished in the process.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, that's kind of how it's always been. Like, squirrel, gotta finish something, you know? Seriously.
Yep.
And,
Nice
and,
movie reference.
and it's just, I know at a young age, I mean, I violently assaulted somebody too. So, I mean, I stabbed somebody. I went to Boys Totem Town for it.
Okay.
Served a whole bunch of Boys Totem Town time.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting out and still having that use there. So, like, I went right back into Totem Town just because of the use, and another wasn't a violent act, but I tried to pull somebody out of their car. They were just because it was a road rage incident. And I was young and dumb, and literally.
Just talking about road rage.
I'm not proud of it, but I mean, I remember driving that night because another friend was drinking too much. I wasn't drinking like that, so I was better to drive. And then, well, the road rage incident happened,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, I'm back in Totem Town.
Sure.
And shortly after that process, I was almost 18, so they dropped all probation off on me. This is right before I turned 18.
Oh, sure.
So pretty much I had access to do whatever I want.
At 18.
At 17 to 18. So from the short, because my birthday's in March, so I'm guessing a few months prior to that, all the way up until October was when I got my first felony as an adult. It was a burglary charge.
Okay.
Me and my friend, we broke into a garage. We left after getting a whole bunch of stuff, and then pretty much he forgot his baton in the garage, and I'm like, I don't want to go back. He pretty much had me go back so he can get his baton, and well, what am I gonna do when I'm already back? I'm gonna grab some more stuff.
Sure.
Right, why not?
Because there was that much.
Sure.
And literally on the way back to my house after he got his baton and I grabbed more stuff just like he did, I got busted pretty much right behind my house. I hit a couple corners trying to ditch the cops when they didn't even have their lights on yet. And
Sure.
pretty much got busted with my first burglary charge.
Yeah.
Didn't really do no jail time, but I remember there was some mental health issues for sure. Pretty much a paranoia schizophrenia I don't understand how it happened for me, but my best friend's schizophrenic now.
Okay.
He won't ever come back.
Sure.
I mean, maybe, but knowing and being around that when he ain't even using anymore, even if he had sobriety, nothing, he's just stuck in schizophrenia. And I was in that for like a good 3 months. It was by the grace of God that he helped me snap out of that somehow, because like I still sit there and think about my friend. I haven't talked to him in probably a year or two now, but that he saved me rather than him is how I look at it, because we were doing the same type of dope,
Doing the same thing.
it was nasty drugs, or nasty meth. It was like cooked up here, and it was just junk, and it that's what made him go crazy and me at the same time. But something, I don't know. This is where like when you sit and think about how God does things in our lives.
I had a neighbor whose son started messing around with like, meth, but also bath salts and shit. And so one night he decided he was gonna, a little bit of meth cocktail with a little bit of bath salt cocktail. And he's like your friend now.
Schizophrenic.
Oh, he sees green men up in the ceiling. Like, he's just not the same person. It's just his brain, just something snapped in there. And you're lucky.
I know.
You're 31 years old.
Right.
You've been through a hell of a lot of life, like more so than most people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you've been given this, I saw it written on the board down in the prayer room or whatever the study room. Is like, God is a God of second chances,
right?
And maybe even third,
maybe
fourth,
even more.
chances.
Yeah. I can't count on my hands and toes for sure on how many chances I've had already. I know that there's been other situations where I should have been dead.
Yeah, me too.
I've never shot up a day in my life or overdose or anything like that, but it's just the situations I've been in and situations I've seen and just stuff like that. It's like I shouldn't be here today.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
And this is where like I know that. So like at that 18 mark, when I finally got my first felony, I kept going ham. He stopped doing crime. I kept doing more crime. And my sentence wasn't up, or I wasn't sentenced yet and all this other stuff. And finally, when I was sentenced, I had all these other charges popping up. And then after I was sentenced, I got one probation violation. The one probation violation, I did good in sobriety for 6 months. I did 190 meetings in 180 days.
Okay.
And that was at 19 to 20. Now I'm 20. And while I got more charges, I finally went back and they were like, we're done with you. We're going to send you to prison. They executed me. And I went to prison. Went to prison for 6 months. Within 5 weeks after getting out, that's when my accident happened. It was 5 weeks after prison, I hit and killed somebody and fled the scene.
Okay.
I was young, dumb, ignorant, reckless driving. I wasn't high or drunk because I had a probation allowed me to be on color code through Washington County, or the parole did. So I was on color code through Washington County, and you had 3 days to go take a UA. So I made sure that as soon as my color popped up, I was stopped using. I was drinking a whole bunch of water, being clean and whatnot, but I still was in the middle of doing all the criminal bullshit, being a drug dealer, running around and thinking I'm cool, young and dumb. And when the accident happened, it was my fault. I was recklessly driving. I didn't have my glasses on. That was the whole ordeal. And the accident happened when I struck him. I fled the scene because I had more drugs on me.
Oh.
That's the whole reason why I fled.
Sure.
I mean, I still have nightmares about it till this day. Every day, I have nightmares about it. And so, like,
you want to know what's weird? I'll just tell you this. I had a dream last night that I hit and killed somebody in a car.
That's really weird.
And now I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it. And I
That's
woke
really
up,
weird.
Craig, and I'm like, holy shit, like, I know that person is dead, and I know that my life is completely different. And now I'm hearing this actually happened to you.
Right.
Weird.
I did 5 years. 5 years straight for it. And
Sure.
the way that I went to the Minnesota Department of Corrections, I gained weight my first bit around. So, I mean, I lost it all already by the time I went back in. But being in Rush City Prison made me a monster. I already know that. Like, I don't doubt nothing of myself with anybody. I mean, you can put me in the ring with Tyson, and I already, in my mind, I know I'm going to win. Don't even matter whether I get beat up or not, but that's the type of violent mentality that I had. Like, they made me more of an asshole, made me somebody that I'm not.
Sure.
Because I know I have everything that I've been building since I've been in this program. I have everything that I am now, I was before life, the criminals world and drug dealing and being a violent person. Because I mean, I could say that I have fear of nothing, and now all of a sudden that I got this grace by, I remember that first week here begging God to take my criminal thoughts. That God is what I'm afraid of now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying. Yeah, we all sin. Everybody sins, no matter what.
Yeah.
You gotta repent for your sins and just work on doing better. But like, there's that big thing that I know I have to pay attention to is he took those criminal thoughts from me. I don't ever want them coming back. So ever since then, my main objective is to make money legally.
Yeah.
And he's been showing me everything that I learned prior to coming to here about cars and just things in general like that.
Been working?
Oh yeah, I don't know how to explain it, and this is what God does in my life, because it's just from the stuff that I grew up learning. It's just, and I don't even know how to explain it on how I know numbers about stuff.
Sure.
Like, I don't read magazines. I don't study nothing like that. I could just literally tell you what things are worth, how many dollars can I make on something, and make a few dollars and move on. I'm not out here to get rich either.
So you're saying you're starting to, as a result of some clarity of thought, you're kind of like falling into some skills.
Right.
Like you're starting to like just inherent talents that you have.
Right.
Because you know you can kick somebody's ass. You
Right.
know you could probably get right back into your criminal thinking and like probably draw that element to you.
Yeah.
But like, it sounds like God is like, okay, now that you've kind of removed yourself from that darkness, like, here's the shit that I'm going to tell you, like, that you're really good
Right.
at. That's going to change your life.
And it has been.
That's awesome, dude.
Even though, yeah, I'm in the program and I'm not working, okay? It's not a job, but even the program director knows that I'm actually doing things that I love, and it's making good money. I'm even slowing down, taking it down a notch, and I'm just patiently waiting on this HVAC job.
Okay.
So the friend that got me into the program, I already know, the friend that got me into this program
Yeah.
does HVAC.
Okay.
They just hired a couple guys and whatnot, and they're waiting to see how they fall in line. And I just got to be patient. I'm going to be patient at it. I mean, it's not union too, so I mean, it's not like that, but I mean, it's still like that, because not only that, I'm gaining knowledge in that HVAC career, and I already know it. And there's the things that, like, being able to be patient and just continue doing what I'm doing. I'm getting by. I'm good. So I graduate next month into the program, but I'm still going to be staying here. My choice is to still stay here. I'd rather stay here than go to a sober house. I just don't agree with how a lot of sober houses are some way run. I know that there are really good sober houses. I just don't want to take that chance. I don't want to be around. I mean, I'm still around people that use. I have to admit that.
Sure.
Me being around them people that use, they don't bring that up to around me. They don't talk about that stuff around me. And sure, I don't see it for sure. You know what I mean? And those were the ones that were here for me this winter. Those were the friends that actually cared when I didn't even care about my own self.
Yep.
That's I will not allow myself to stop talking with those friends. Anybody could tell me anything different. I mean, there's so much in life, and this is literally what God has given me the capabilities to understand for sure, 100%. Because in my past, I could say the people, places, and things, would have been a problem. I never had a relationship with God. Those things ain't a problem when you have a relationship with Him and you know what you're going to be doing. You know your main focus point on life.
It's brilliant.
For me, and don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with that for some people because maybe they don't have what I have as far as a relationship. They got to work towards that. And maybe they can be around that later down the line, but they gotta have that structural build in their mindset, knowing that ain't gonna mess them up. That ain't gonna because like since I've been here, ever since God took that criminal thinking from me, there ain't no going back. I refuse.
Can't unring the bell.
No.
We talk about that, don't we?
Yeah.
Once you hear it, you can't unring it.
No, and I fully understand when Pastor Dan or when Seth was here, he'd say it. Scott says it. Bill says it. Everybody says it here. When you allow those things to come back in your life, it'll be like when you clean the house, it'll be 7 times worse. And I'm if I was 7 times worse than I was before I got here, I'll be dead.
Pretty creepy, isn't it?
I'll be dead. There ain't no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Even so as far as from the mental health side. Like, I was suicidal before I came in here. That was a big, like, I didn't care. Like, this is where I said, like, my friends cared about me even when I didn't even care about myself. And how would they want to be around something like that and then try to help? It's because God put them in my life. I mean, granted, they might not be all godly and all stuff like that, but you know what? They have the hearts that it takes. Like, they don't, like, I don't go and kick it with people that do crime. So the ones that still use are people that never been to prison, if that makes sense. They've never been to prison. They have hard work ethic, and they don't steal. They don't do crime. They use that. I mean,
maybe God put you in their life.
Right. That too. At the same time, because like I remember just being around a friend of mine, and I was like, you know, I noticed you've been doing a little bit more for me. I mean, even though he was still doing stuff for me, like help me out wise, I was like, I noticed like you would have never have done this car dolly in your mom and dad's driveway because they don't allow that. And I'm like, having to take time away from, because he works a lot too, taking time from work just to help me fix a car dolly so I don't have to go spend $2,000 on a new one, you know. And we literally changed out the main beam at the bottom. So it's like, I was like, look, man, I noticed this, and I know you don't really do this for anybody, and I just want to know that thank you. Like, it meant the world to me because he's taking more time out now, and like he's even encouraging me to continue to be patient on the pot thing, because like I want to use medicinal marijuana for my dreams and stuff that I have at night for the accident.
Yeah.
I'm just being patient on it. While I've been here, I can care less right now. I'm still in the midst of fixing and repairing my life. Once I leave here, that's when I want to pay attention to it, because those dreams ain't normal. Those dreams are not good.
Yeah.
It's, maybe they say over time that it could go away. Well, you know what? I mean, I've had it for the past 10 years now.
Yeah.
It's been
Seems like
10 years this month on the 26th
You know,
since the accident.
sounds like a little PTSD.
I do. I have that. Not just that, it's just the PTSD from prison too, on top of it.
Oh,
like
yeah,
my
absolutely.
anxiety, like I've done 3. So seg and shoe are 2 different things. Shoe, you get out an extra hour for the yard and an extra hour for the gym on weekends. So I did 3.5 years total of seg and shoe. So, but when you're a worker, you get to be out all day, you get to go do a job all day. Well, I didn't have that the whole bit. So it was like, I know I had mental health issues from all that, and that's where like the short triggered anger comes from. This is where like, I really I mean, they started to change the seg thing up shortly before I got released at Rush City. Like, I remember prospecting for the club, and people are getting, like, brothers now that go to SEG, they get their TVs right away. They get their,
Sure.
you get to go on not ad SEG, I forgot what it's called, but you get your TV and whatever was in your bins for whatever SEG time you're doing. I didn't have none of that. Like, the best thing that you can get in SEG is selling up with somebody on the other side. And there goes, you know what I mean? There goes, but now it's so soft that it just doesn't, you don't do no SEG time. It's not, they're lowering the amount of SEG time. Like, if you assault the CO, no matter what, it's still a year. They did stop that for a while, and a lot of COs were getting assaulted. Too many.
Sure.
And this
So
is why
they had to redo it, re-implement it.
right, they re-implemented that, which I understand. Too many. But, like, for a violent assault offender to offender, the max they could still give you is 90 days.
Okay.
No.
Depending on the degree of the assault.
Right.
Or just straight up.
It's all about the staff part. This is where,
God,
like,
it's gotta be fucking hard. Because everybody's in each other's face anyways. How can you not? Like,
on top
how
of
can
it,
you
when
not?
it's just, that's just how you gotta live. I mean, I'm not saying be a punk or nothing, or be more violent or anything. I just don't know how. I don't know really how to speak on that situation until you're in it. And it's just PTSD from that alone.
Yeah.
That alone, and then the accident on top of it, and just like all the BS that I've had in my past in my life. Like, I've had longtime friends fuck me over before, and it's not a good feeling. It's definitely not. And this is where, like, the high in being away from this kind of lifestyle now, it's just knowing that I have friends that I can call. Like,
Consistent.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then, like, even, like, helping out while I've been here. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a few that I've tried to get to, and then they're obviously not here anymore. But there's one that was just outside in the green shirt.
Okay.
Rob.
Yep.
So he's another good person that I've been trying to, like, be around and just
Yeah.
show him, like, this works. Just telling him to continue to stay here and just pay attention, and everything will fall in line. I'll even go buy a trailer and we can go halves on all the bills and everything.
Sure.
I mean, I got a girlfriend that lives out in Brainerd. I can go move out there right now.
Sure.
Do I want to? No, I want to continue to learn how to be this independent person that I've been growing into since I've been here. And so it's like, yeah, it's a long story on how we met. One of the brothers died that I knew that I was in prison with, and she came all the way down to bring me his ashes. That's how we met. They weren't dating or nothing. They were really good friends, but she brought me the ashes and gave me his Bible. Listen, remember when I said I have a few Bibles that mean a lot to me?
Yeah.
She didn't tell me nothing about it until she got here, and she gave me, I have this too. It gave me the Bible that he had. How he died was from a seizure.
Okay.
He didn't have no drugs in his system.
Sure.
He's up in heaven, I know that.
Yeah.
So this is where, like, I also think a lot about how people go to heaven or hell. A lot of people think just everybody goes to heaven, and that's not true. It's not true. It's sad to say, because I mean, I'm not the judge, and we don't know until we get up there. But obviously, when you start to sit here and think about it, if you're not a good person prior to going up there, more than likely, what happens? You're not probably going to be up there.
Yeah. It's a deep philosophical question.
And we won't find out until we die.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that I go through these phases of obsession? And my most, over the course of the spring, I was watching these YouTube videos of near-death experiences.
Sure.
I've heard a lot about it.
Where people die and then they'll come back. But the ones that I found most compelling were the ones where people died and they went to the wrong place.
Sure.
And they come back and they say, I was kicking it, I was in a club, I was violent, and I hurt people, I found pleasure in that. And I died, and I was tormented, I went to this place. And so remember we were talking about patterns.
Yes.
And so I'm looking at this guy's freaking testimony on YouTube video, and then I look at this other guy's testimony that don't know each other on video, and then I look at that lady, right? And it's like, holy crap, like there's a pattern, like it's all a little different experience, but the same feelings, like they're all going to a place, and then they come back and they're completely changed. Like they're like, I know that there's an afterlife, and I'm gonna take what time I have left on this earth to lift people up, to love people, to be reverent before the Lord, because I don't even want to take a chance. You know what I mean?
I have something on that one. Like, I mean, I was with another friend out in Egan, and he was having somebody come check out another vehicle. Well, that person that came to check it out looked familiar. I don't really know him though, but he was talking about a near death, or he died. He was like 6 minutes, no oxygen in the brain or something.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I don't quote me. I think that was right.
But a long time.
There.
Yeah.
So he said he even spoke to God and everything, and he was being very detailed about it. So I mean, I think that he probably was using still, but I don't know. But that still doesn't change how he said from that experience, he's still a good person. He changes the way how his life is, and now, I mean, he had, I don't know how to explain it. I just know that he still had medical issues, and he was still being able to walk and everything.
Yeah.
Long story short, and being able to walk at an impacted accident of that magnitude, and saying the details, that's where, like, when he was saying specific details that he remembered in the dream, while he's in a coma, he said he could hear everybody talking about pulling plugs and stuff like that, and literally stuff that far.
Yeah.
And then, like, when he was talking with God and stuff like that, I don't fully remember the full conversation. It's just, I know that I believe in that 100%.
Sure. Oh.
That there ain't no... People can't make that stuff up when you sit there and even pay attention to the eyes. Like, there are things, I know how to catch people in a lie. Like I said, I've done that prison time.
Yeah, you know.
And I read this book. I mean, I don't want to bring up the book because I don't want people trying to figure this out and whatnot. But the book pretty much taught me how to catch people in lies.
What is it?
Huh?
What's the book? Because I think I know what you're talking about.
Tony Robbins?
Oh, no, not Tony Robbins. There's another book.
It's
like, I know some other...
It's about bashing money. This is why I have all that money, by the way. But that book taught me on how to catch people up in lies. The turning of the eyes, and then when they don't, even the little ticks, like, they can sit there and look straight. The little ticks, there's some things that, like, knowing that that's a lie, and this is where...
Or deception.
This is, yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe not a lie, but they're not...
It's not the whole truth.
Yeah.
Then this is where, like, I know I could... This is where I shined in prison. This is where I shined in the club. This is where I shined in making sure things were correct. And if you lied to me, that's not good. Sure. In the past, like, even like...
I'm the same
like,
way.
even like checking...
Don't
people,
lie.
Just checking people's ID number. Like, hey, do you got a case? Type stuff,
Sure.
When you lie to me, man, there's gonna be a bigger issue.
Sure.
And then, like, that's when I put my seriousness out, they already know I'm not playing with you, and they'll sit there and tell me the whole script. And if they do lie to me, that's when the violence happens, whether I'm going or not.
What's OID stand for? Offender identification. What's the D part?
I don't know.
God, I haven't heard OID.
I know mine's 234-039. I'll never forget that number.
I used to look at those every day because I pull credit reports for offenders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I used to go in and teach classes because guys would be getting out.
Where at?
Everywhere. Freaking Rush City. Oh, yeah.
You might have done my release then.
When were you in there?
Well, I got released, so I was in, when did the accident? 10
Yeah,
years ago. So 2011 was when the accident happened.
Okay, yeah.
I got out 2016, I got out June 2016.
No, I haven't been in the prisons
Yeah.
for a while.
I think it was a young guy. Matter of fact, I think it was a younger guy. He did like
Yeah, like
he was
the-
a subcontractor in a big bank. I forgot his name.
Yeah, they come in and they just like
He just came in to help. That's what he does on the side for his probably spiritual. You know what I mean? Like helping people out like that. And I mean, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the release stuff. You know, I learned a lot about the credit. And now just like even recently being here, I learned a lot prior to that. About credit. So
if you need guidance on any of that, then that's kind of what I do.
okay.
Or just anything.
You know about the frequent flyer miles?
Just anything and Dustin probably would agree. It's like we're kind of brothers, and we're kind of going. At least for me, I'm in recovery, so I'm going through some of the same stuff, you know. And so I'll text you when we're done.
Yeah. And
we can just stay in touch because you need good, consistent people around.
Right.
You know,
for sure.
And I am fascinated by your story, and I just thank you. Like I'm so grateful that you would.
Thank you guys. For
like
doing
open
this.
up to people you don't really know.
Right.
Like, this is. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, man. It's pretty amazing.
For me, my whole life, I've always been an open book because I have nothing to hide. I mean, if you ain't gonna like me, then that's your choice not to like me.
Sure.
Prison mentality. Well, if you don't show me respect, I'll take respect. This is where a lot of shifting from everything that I am trying to be and continue to learn and be. There's a big difference. So I mean, but like I said, I've always been an open book, and I just want, if anybody's listening out there that does this, that has a life like mine, it's not hard to change. You just gotta want it. Literally, like I was close to suicide just this past winter, multiple times. I can't even tell you how many times, just because of just how the mental health issues were going on. It's not hard. It's actually easy once after you pass that wanting the help part. And this is where like God came into my life, because He knew I was probably gonna be a mess the rest of my life if I didn't reach out and do that criminal thinking prayer and just start working on me. Because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'd probably be in prison. I'm still facing prison time right now.
Sure.
Right now I got multiple court dates in multiple different counties. Biggest charge I have right now is felon in possession of ammunition. 5-year sentence. It's an automatic sentence no matter what. Usually you go straight to prison no matter what. There ain't no
plea.
None. So this is why I even came here, because this is why this suicidalness, the mental health issues were in place. And now all of a sudden I didn't come here to not go to prison for that. I came here because if not, I was gonna die. Now it's like this program might just save my life, even on going to prison. I don't know. My next court date soon, September. So in September, I mean, I'll know. But I mean, if that happens, then I just gotta continue to be okay with my past life choices. Go in and get the hell out, and just continue doing everything that I've been doing.
Can you go with a person or even letters that say, here's what Greg has been doing that has shown?
Realistically, it's just up to the prosecutor if he's wanting and willing to do that. But if the prosecutor ain't down, okay, so the prosecutor told me he's not objective to that, but he got to run it over his superior.
Okay.
To me, I mean, it sounds like I could be getting it, but the last 2 court dates, he haven't brought it up to his superior yet, so I got continuances again.
Oh.
It's just
Yeah.
continuing on in court dates that I don't want to continue on with. Now I got to be there in person, so now all these other court dates are about to start to be in person, and it's just so much
Stress.
Yeah, and this is another reason why I haven't really started working for someone else yet either. It's because I have all these things, and I don't want to be like, hey, I'm gonna need the day off after this time because I got to go into it for a court date. And so like I said, I mean, I've still been very successful in what I'm doing right now with vehicles and stuff. So I'm not in a rush, and then that's why I'm being patient on that HVAC job.
Yeah.
This is why I'm like that whole big thing about what's the word persecuance mean? Or am I saying it right?
Persecution?
No.
Perseverance?
Perseverance. Yes.
Okay.
What does that word mean?
An ability to continue on a path while you're meeting resistance.
Exactly.
Very good.
That's so this is where like
Mr. Webster.
right? This is where life has been. It's been all about trying to make sure that everything's lined up.
Yep.
And it's working. And God's been doing and just helping me pay attention to all of it.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to stop. Certainly, if you're willing, we'd love to interview you again.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
You have a great story. You have high perseverance. It's and that's one of the things that I wanted with this podcast when we started, is to talk to people about the struggles they're facing and get different stories out there. So like, you guys deal with addiction with drugs and alcohol. I deal with an addiction to food. I'll be honest with you. Last time I weighed myself, I was at 460. Like, I just want to get as many people talking about as many different things so that somebody listening goes, oh shit, that's me. I get that. I'm not alone. I have some support. Somebody else can understand some of the things I'm talking about.
Right.
So I want to say thank you very much, like DJ said, for being as open and honest as you were.
Yeah, no problem.
I find your story fascinating. I think you're on a great path.
Yeah.
And love to have you on again.
No problem.
For sure.
Anytime.
Cool.
Anytime.
Me too.
All right, cool. Well, we'll end there. So thanks everybody for listening. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it's when I post it Sunday, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, we hope and pray that you find something uplifting about this. We pray that you walk with the Lord and find some way to get out of the muck that you're in and know that you're not alone, and just keep trying. Just get back on that horse. So until next time, we'll talk to you guys. Bye.